Alright guys, went from a bike ride, took a shower, I'm clean, I'm happy, and I'm set for a showcase. We are almost done, guys. We're done almost every character in the freaking game so far up to this point. So the next up, the unit I want to talk about that most people ignore, and quite honestly, he's all over the place, so rightfully so, is somebody that not a lot of people utilize, but a lot of people face and hate fighting against, and that's going to be Combat Guile. That's right. The techie version of the OG, the guy who looks like a badass. He's got 2 US flags on his arms, shoots arrows, sonic booms, and probably has a Top Gun Harrier jet sitting around somewhere. Combat Guile is a pretty big badass when you fight him, but is he any good as a unit to use for yourself? So let's talk about Combat Guile and everything that he is, and I'm going to explain to you where he's going to be most useful, what he's all about, and we're going to test him out in some of this content, okay? So first off, he is a Thunder faction. He is, whoops, where did he go? There he is. He's a tech unit, he is an attack class, and his military combat gives him plus 25 attack. Now, he is all over the place. Now, I know somebody here specifically asked me to do 2 things. So a viewer said, please start with the passive skills and then the garage. So let's go ahead with the garage first real quick so you guys know what the garage is all about, and I'm going to move on to passives. But before I do that, as usual, let's talk about just the best fighting soul for him. You can do multiple things with him because he's so all over the place for stats, okay? He's got very high HP and he's got pretty decent attack. So you can build him as a bruiser with HP, which I have here with the HP bonus and the crit resist, so he lasts longer. Or you can build him, excuse me guys, or you can build him with attack and crit. It's up to you which way you want to go. So in my opinion, Shelter is a good one to go with. Let's change it up real quick. I have a couple other options. Broken Formation is okay. Really, his crit's pretty low, so not the greatest thing. I would instead go with Marshall for him if you're going to use him, because the attack bonus is nice there. Plus, he increases the damage every time there's missing HP. Another one that's really good for him is going to be this one here with the HP bonus and effect resist with Recklessness. The only problem is you're really not going to use this at all. So this fighting skill kind of goes out the window for him on that one. Echo is not the greatest either. I wouldn't worry about that one, although he does have a self-heal when he removes a buff, so this healing proc is nice, but these stats here aren't really that useful for him. And then the last one you can use if you want to add a little bit of extra attack is this one here. You can increase the HP restore by inspiration by 120% of attack, so this kind of falls into the same line of what he currently uses. But I think Marshall, Shelter, and most likely Broken Formation will be the best 3 to go for him for the stats purposes specifically, and Shelter will also give him a shield that can keep alive a little longer, okay? So, bonds here real quick, DJ, Sea Viper, and Poison. Those are 3 bonds. Let's talk about his garage first, and then his passive skill, and then we're going to move on to the skills themselves, and then the fighting spirit. So we're going to go that order because someone requested it. We'll see if you guys like this order better, okay? So 6-card passive and a 3-card passive. Upon entering the battle, the fighter gains 2 attack for every 100 HP, initial HP, up to 15% of the fighter's initial attack. So this is what I was saying to you guys. Having initial HP here, I'm not sure if that means base HP. I don't know if additional HP from fighting souls, for example, count, so we'd have to take a look at that and test that out. But if it does, then having a fighting soul with HP is actually better. And then right over here, it's the opposite. Upon entering the battle, the fighter gains 25% or 25 HP for every 10 initial attack, up to 20%. So this one gives a little bit more, right? HP. This one gives a little bit more attack. So again, depend how you want to build them, right? So these are not necessities for him, but they definitely make him a better bruiser, and he's already a bruiser as it is, being an attack unit. Attack bruisers are people who withstand through fights and also dish out decent damage. So people who can last and dish out damage. That's what a bruiser is, okay? So really good card bonuses for him. If you plan to use him, you probably want to go for these, to be quite honest with you guys, okay? So let's move on to the skills, and we'll talk about all of the skills. So his super is Saber Bow. Charges up for a penetrating, so it is an AoE, just so you guys know. Charging up for a penetrating sonic wave that delivers a heavy hit to enemies from thunder damage equal to 310% of attack. Keep in mind, this is thunder damage, so it's not physical damage. So people like Zangief will have resistance to it for the rest of the team, but he's the only one that will. Everyone else will take elemental damage, okay? There is also 20% chance to dispel 1 enemy buff, which is actually really, really cool. So anyone who is constantly buffing themselves, like, and keep in mind, there are some buffs that are not dispellable, so you have to remember that, right? But anything like a heal, like a hot from Elena, Sea Viper's C1, which gives a crazy buffs, can all be dispelled with Combat Guile. So he's a great counter to a lot of buffing units, okay? Increases damage to 357%. And then if the target is inflicted with shock, the damage is increased by 20%. So having a shock unit like T-Cami, for example, is actually really cool with Guile here, because he actually will add additional damage from this special. But the only problem is, if you have T-Cami, there's no way you're using his super over hers, right? So keep in mind, if you want to build around combat Guile, having a shock unit like Poison would be better off than having someone like T-Cami who will do most of the damage anyways, right? All right, so shock, if you guys don't know what that is, take thunder damage equal to 10% of attack for each received for 6 seconds can stack up to 10 times, okay? So just so you guys are aware what that is. All right, his combat 2, Gorilla Bow. It's an AoE. Fully draws the bow for a heavy hit to all enemies. This deals thunder damage equal to 260% of attack with a 50% chance to dispel one enemy debuff. Or one enemy buff, sorry. So real quick, just so you guys note, his multipliers are very, very small. Like, he does not dish out a lot of damage. He's not meant to. When you fight the NPC, and the way they dish out damage with Guile is not going to be the same way you're going to dish out combat with Guile. The damage multipliers are very small for him, number-wise, okay? His main goal, realistically, is to do elemental damage, and this is it right here. His main job is to actually dispel enemy buffs, okay? He also obtains super armor while performing the skill, which is great, so he can't be knocked back. He can be interrupted, though, okay? Super armor does not stop interrupts. Increases damage to 286%, but also dispels a buff by 70%. That's massive. And you'll see how this plays into his fighting spirit very shortly, okay? So this here is going to be his best dispelling move for sure. All right, combat 3. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was supposed to start with passive, right? I apologize, guys. Let's go to the passive now, okay? When dispelling, there's a 30% chance to deal additional thunder damage equal to 10% of current HP up to 70% of attack. And this is what I mean by he's all over the place, right? He's got moves that are attack-based, and he's got moves that are HP-based. And that's why his cars are so important, because they give you both HP and attack bonuses for having 6 vehicles. So he's very much a bruiser, but he's like a jack of all trades. He doesn't really do anything special except for the dispelling of buffs, but damage-wise, it's pointless. When dealing additional damage, there's a 100% base chance to inflict shock, which is really, really cool. When dispelling, there's a 50% chance to deal additional damage, increasing the additional damage to 15% instead of 10, and the current HP up to 105% of attack instead of 70. So does definitely help increase damage a little bit there, okay? So as you can see here, when dispelling, there's a 30% chance to deal additional damage equal to his current HP up to 70. And the key is current HP, guys, not max HP. Current HP, which means if he's low on the HP scale, this is going to do no damage at all. Again, all over the place, okay? Army Knife Boom Chain. Unleashes multiple saber waves that strike a target 9 times. So Assault is actually decent if you plan to use this. Dealing thunder damage equal to 805% of attack. If the target is inflicted with shock, deal additional 20%. So that is very important. That will boost that up quite a bit to 825. The last 2 strikes deal additional thunder damage equal to 10% of the fighter's current HP, again, up to 70%. Okay, so this is going to be his best DPS move. Okay, this is his best dispel. This is his best DPS. So it's up to you how you want to use him, but you can't use one or the other. You're either going to dispel with this and damage with this, or you just dispel with this and that's it. He's just there for that purpose alone, and just a little bit of AoE. That's all he's going to be there for. And honestly, it's situational where you want to use that. All right, let's talk about his fighting spirit. So you can see here HP bonus, attack bonus. Those are the 2 main things that drive his entire kit. So very important. Pressure and dodge, really not necessary for him. Special ops captain, restore 7% of HP upon a successful dispel. Triggers every 10 seconds. I mean, it's, again, survivability, bruiser type skill, right? He's a bruiser. And again, I keep going back to that. Unlock at 5%. Or sorry, +5, sorry. Takes effect when the fighter is in assist position. When the assisted fighter deals skill damage, there's an 8% chance to dispel a buff on the target. Again, every 10 seconds. When a buff is dispelled, this is really low, by the way, so it's not really useful. When a buff is dispelled successfully, all enemies take thunder damage equal to 5% of combat Guile's max HP, up to 50% of the assister fighter's attack. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. I've tested this. I had him a +5 for a very long time. The dispel percentage is so low, and the amount of damage it causes is useless. So really, really bad assist. One of the worst assists in the game. +10, increases attack by 3% when a buff is dispelled. Successfully stacks up to 18%, so that's not bad. The +20 is just as important. The HP restoration can trigger every 7 seconds, increase the max attack to 24 instead of 18, so boost that. And then Army Knife Boom Chains, every strike has a 20% chance to dispel a buff from the target. So Army Knife Chains, if you guys don't recall, is this one. So now it'll actually have the ability to dispel. So almost have to get him to plus 30 to fully maximize him. Because now that move that matters actually has a dispel buff chance with every strike, and it has 9 strikes. So when you get this, he becomes a whole different ball game. He becomes actually a really good unit. So very, very important to note that. Now I don't have the plus 30, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do something that actually offers a plus 30, and we're going to show you guys how this works. Okay, so we're going to fight this team here, and I'm going to show you guys the trial version, not my version, the trial version, because the trial version will actually give you guys an idea of how good he is, because they actually do have, if you look here, the vehicles, right? And the skills, and EFS maxed out. So it's very important for me to show you guys the plus 30 version of him versus the regular version and why it makes such a big difference, all right? So we're going to go ahead and set him up here. He's going to be ranged just like regular Guile is. In the back here, we're going to toss in, let's go with, now we don't have an assist for him, okay? Keep that in mind. The best assists for him are going to be ones that either heal him, so Elena, and give him higher HP, or people who, like Abel, who will shield him as well, okay? So you want him to be a bruiser, so you want him to have as much HP as possible. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go with this combo here. We're going to go ahead and set Adon, this, and this, okay? Now we're going to watch the Dispel. Mostly the Dispel and the amount of damage he does through this fight, okay? So I'm going to set this to ×1. And we'll go ahead and auto, okay? We're not going to bother with, actually, no, I'll do ×2, sorry. I cannot watch ×1. So, so right away he's got shock on him, but here's his special. So watch the opponent's buffs, okay? If they have any at all. Okay, see, they need a buff first. This might be a bad example because I don't think any of these guys actually get buffs, which is kind of crappy. So we might actually fight the totem pole instead of these guys. But you can only see his damage a little bit here as he does it. Yeah, nobody here has... So you can see that like his Sonic Boom with plus 30 actually does quite a bit. Yeah, it's kind of pointless here because he doesn't actually dispel anything. But if you look at stats, he does actually do pretty decent damage right there. Most of his stats are is coming from Saber Bow. His damage is coming... Sorry, most of his damage is coming from Saber Bow. And then also no debuffs... Or no buffs were removed, right? Yeah, okay, let's go back to the totem pole here. Do any of these guys buff? I think they do. So let's see if I can find a unit here that buffs, and we can show you guys an example. So this is actually a good team setup. Let's go with Combat Guile here. Okay, I'm going to do manual here. See if these guys can get a buff. I'm going to let these guys do their special first. See if a buff is going to land at all on anybody. Knife. Does a tank do a buff? Nobody does a buff, huh? That's crazy. Okay, well here's a bow. Oh, you actually saw a Dispel. So I don't know if you guys saw that. It said Dispel. Okay, good. Okay, so we can try that again. I don't think I actually need to toss a Dispel in. I think he actually just does it. There's Dispel. You see that? And look, he had a little hot on him. So we'll do it again. I'll show you guys one more time. Okay, so here, watch. Watch up here. Super armor, and then if he dispels anybody, he'll have a little hot, which means healing over time on his head. Right now, it only triggers every 10 seconds, so you have to keep that in mind. I do have to wait a little bit of time before I can do it again. So here, we'll do it again. Watch above his head. Super armor? No, so the time hasn't passed yet, so 1 sec here. We'll speed this up a little bit here, okay, just to get the combo going. So again, this, watch it over above his head. Oh no, he didn't get it that time either. What's going on? For some reason he's not getting it. Maybe because he's actually not dispelling anything. I think it says dispel, but he's actually not dispelling anyone. Yeah, you can see here because there's no buffs. That makes sense. Okay. So the dispel does happen at 70%. It's just he's not getting the dispel off. So let's just try to do his C3 instead. Okay. Yeah, see it says dispel, but he's not getting it. Okay. So unfortunately, bad example. Let me see if I can get into another fight here real quick. I can actually dispel somebody. This team definitely has spells. So let's put in Combat Guile here. I'll take away... Let's do this little swap, okay? Just so you guys can see this. I might most likely die here pretty quickly, but I do want to show you guys how it works, right? So let's try this out. Okay. I'm going to set this to ×1, and we'll actually go ahead and auto this one, okay? So that you can see Guy actually has... So he dispelled that. I don't know if you guys saw that. There was a dispel there. Now here there won't be a dispel because his Sonic Boom, I don't have the FS30, so his Saber move won't actually dispel. So we're going to do the second combo this time instead. Okay, so watch. Watch their buffs there, okay? Watch Dhalsim's and Guile. Okay, I didn't dispel anybody there, so that's not a good example. Oh, Combat Guile's only one left. So now we're going to die. Okay, we'll do that again, okay? So I'm going to do the C2 this time, and you guys can see the 70% dispel there, okay? And then watch my bar up here, okay? So let's do times 2. So it's Dhalsim and Guile's move that you want to see dispelled. There you go. See, he removed his right there and did shock damage, okay? So that's what happens when you dispel right there. Now, I don't think I actually got... Oh, I got destroyed there. Challenge again. So we're going to do it again. I don't think I actually got hot there, though, for anything. Watch this. Dispel. Right? He actually had a hot there a second ago. So, again, not a lot of damage by any means, but he does dish out the dispels when you need them, right? So fighting against a Honda, for example, that has, I don't think Desperation can be removed, but a lot of other buffs can be. So Combat Guile, realistically, just a bruiser, nowhere near the capabilities of his actual OG self, nowhere near as good as his OG self, but at least there, if you want to have a bruiser that can remove buffs, you have to, though. You have to have his FS30 for him to be viable. Like, absolutely. Because without his C3, he's useless. His multipliers are so small that you're going to see minimal damage, and you rather have him replaced by DPS. But if you can get his FS30, which realistically is not worth it, guys, because there's way better units out there. But if you really, really like him and you're a simp for Combat Guile for some reason, you have to get his FS30 and you have to get his 6 vehicles. So unfortunately, nowhere near as good as the OG Guile or a lot of the other units in the game. But you need kit, and he's all over the place, and he requires too much maintenance. He's just high maintenance altogether. He is like Tom Cruise from Top Gun, man. He's just high maintenance. All right, anyways, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, not worth your while for Combat Guile. Unfortunately, he's just too much of a all over the place unit, but I wanted to showcase him anyways, just so you guys can kind of see what he's all about. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys in the next one.